Welcome to another episode of MyToolboxTV. I'm Daryn Llewellyn. In today's topic, we want to talk about 70E. We want to show you the steps, the procedures the electrician needs to go through to properly protect himself against arc flash and electric shock if doing a simple task, in this case, changing a circuit breaker in an electrical panel. Let's watch. The first thing that Matthew's going to do is assess the hazards that he's going to face when working inside this panel. Now we're going to do the work de-energized, but that means we're going to go through lockout tagout process, which is live work, because we're going to have to verify that it's isolated. From the label on the front of the panel, the arc flash label, he will get information regarding the PPE that required to do what he's about to do, the category of clothing for arc flash protection, the voltage, the gloves required, etc. He'll take note of all this. He's turning off all the loads that this panel is providing power for prior to turning off the main breaker that feeds the panel. He's located the breaker that feeds that panel and he's shutting it off. Now he's putting on the lockout tagout device on that circuit breaker now so that nobody turns that on while he's working. It's important that you follow your company's lockout tagout policy, not necessarily exactly as we've shown in the video. It's important that you make that distinction. Here, Matthew is verifying the voltmeter that he's going to use during the lockout tagout process. He's using a known live circuit nearby. In this process, you could also test the meter on a receptacle, your choice to do that. But we must verify that the voltmeter works before we use it. I like to do it on a circuit that's similar voltage rather than use a 120 volt circuit. We're now going to open up the panel. Do notice that when he checked his meter, he put full PPE on, and he still has it on taking the cover off, even though he shut this panel off. Because we haven't verified it yet, it's on. And in your mind, it has to be on until it's verified. He's now verifying the voltage has been removed from the main side of the circuit breaker. And you'll notice he's measured between each phase and each phase to ground. And that is a voltmeter. There's a good voltmeter that is capable of that work. He's retesting the meter on the same circuit as before. Notice that he's wearing PPE. So he tested the meter before we used it, and we tested the meter after we used it. Now, while he was away, and this can happen in your situation, that panel was possibly left open. If you have to be away from the panel while the panel is open, you can't just leave it open like that. Maybe you walked away to test your meter. You can't just leave the panel open. What we've done here is using a attendant. Daniel's been asked to come and watch the panel to keep people away from the panel while it's hot. Daniel is also a qualified person. You notice that he was not wearing PPE, but he was standing outside the zone, outside the arc flash boundary, so it was safe in what he was doing. Now he can determine that this panel is off, is isolated, and safe to work. And now the work actually begins, and he can take off the PPE for the arc flash hazard and the voltage protection. He leaves his safety glasses on just as a precaution, and the work occurs very quickly, and he is able to replace the circuit breaker, do it all de-energized as it should be, unless it can be justified, and that's hard to do. It's important that you keep in mind that we have made a short video here. We have hopefully shown you a lot in this video, but remember, there are 1,000 things that we're unable to put in the video. There's a lot of details in the background that we haven't been able to include because it's just too short. What we hope to have accomplished is to make it so that you can do this work safely. Go upstream first. We remove the lockout tagout device. And once again, you follow your company's procedures and policies on getting this particular procedure done. We'll turn on that circuit breaker, the upstream circuit breaker first. The panel is turned off. Now we're turning on the loads in the main breaker for that panel. And our work is done. Thanks for joining us for this episode of MyToolboxTV. Hopefully today you learned a little something about 70E.
seeing it used and placed in action rather than just reading about it. Hopefully this will make you and the people you work with a little bit safer. Thanks again.